Right, well, welcome to episode 1 of a guide to Blazblue Central Fiction. Just gonna go over a few things first. This episode is based. Blazblue Central Fiction will not be the only game that I will be doing guides for. I will be doing guides for many other games, and I will be doing things other than guides, like play 100% completion playthroughs, and stuff like guides of how to get trophies for certain games, and stuff like that. So it won't just be Central Fiction. You can expect quite a few different games in the future to be having guides and playthroughs of them being done eventually. So that out of the way, let's begin by going over the basics of Blazblue. Here you have the menus. We won't go too much into depth into this today, but for now I will just load up the training mode to show these kind of things off. And if you're wondering, training mode is where you can set certain parameters of comms and basically just practice getting better at the game. And for this demonstration I'll be using Wagner, the Blood Edge, as the character, and I will put the comm to Wagner the Blood Edge as well. At a later date I will start going over the basics of each character specifically, and some combos for those said characters when I get used to their combos. And also from here you can choose the stage and the music theme. So for now we will just have Wagner's theme on, and I'm going to put the original version of his theme on. Now I should turn off some things here. Set that back up. That's still there. There we go. Right, so here you have, excluding what was on the screen a moment ago, here is what you have is the basic HUD of the game. And at the top right of the screen, under the character's name, on basically both corners of the screen, you see the character portrait and their name, and beneath their name you see the yellow, the kind of like blue-green bar. That is your character's HP. And let's say if you would hit player 2, when their health bar is all the way down, this is in training mode so it will not happen properly, but let's say this is a real match and you took Wagner down, there you go, you would have gained a win. And in normal gameplay it is best out of 3, which means the first player to 2 wins the overall match. And then it goes back to the character selection scheme, and then you do rematch or etc. if you're playing net play, or if you're in stuff like campaign or arcade mode, you would progress to the next stage. And beneath the health is the barrier gauge. We will go over that in the intermediate guide, but I'm talking about it now just so you know that it's there. And between the two health bars, even though it says infinity because of being in training mode, that is where the round time would be. Let's say the round time is 60 seconds. In that blue circle between the two health bars, it would start counting down from 60 to 0, and if it got to 0, whoever had the most health at the end would win. Or if both players had the same amount of health, it would draw. If a draw happens, then both players are awarded a win. If a draw happens and one player is one match away from winning, but the other player is not, only the player who isn't a match away from winning will be rewarded with a win. If both players are one round away from winning and there is a draw, it will go into a bonus round. If by some really fluke strange luck thing happens and that bonus round draws as well, it will just be a complete overall draw for the whole match, and the game will end and go back to the character selection scheme. Beneath each character's portrait is the orange circle. That is your overdrive. When you use it, as you can see, it will degenerate. I'll go over some overdrive stuff in a different tutorial though, because here we just have the basic stuff. If you are player 1, you will start on the left of the screen, as I'm controlling player 1 Wagner right now. So I'm controlling that Wagner. And if you're player 2, you start on the left screen and you'd be controlling the left. You'd be starting on the right screen and you'd be controlling the right Wagner. If player 1 hurts player 2, the health bar on the right would go down. If player 2 hurts player 1, the health bar on the left would go down. Now for basic movement. If you hold forwards or right on your D-pad, your character will walk forwards. Different characters have different walk speed. For instance, Wagner's walk speed is that, but if I swap over to someone, if I can find him, someone like Taiga, for instance, as you can see, Taiga has a different backwards walk speed, and it's like a bit slower than his forwards walk speed. So certain characters will each have their own separate, very slightly differentiating movement speeds, and Relius is he definitely walks slower than Wagner by just a bit. So as you get used to playing each character, you'll notice that each different character has different movement speeds, like basic movement speeds. And if you hold left on the D-pad or left on the control stick, you'll walk backwards, obviously. If you press down on the D-pad or down on the control stick, your character will crouch. If you are crouched, you'll dodge certain moves that hit high. For instance, Wagner's 5C, 5A. As you can see, I'm crouching and he is missing me of his attacks. You could still be hit by low attacks. For instance, if a Wagner would do that down B to you, you would still get hit by it. If you press up on the D-pad or up on the control stick, you will do a jump. If you press up and leftwards at the same time on the D-pad or control stick, you'll do a back jump, and forwards and up at the same time, we'll do a forward jump. If you double tap forwards, you'll do a forward dash. If you double tap backwards, you'll do a back step. For instance, Taiga is another good example of this. If I attempt to forward dash here, he doesn't have one, and as you can see, his back dash is a lot slower than Wagner's back dash. Certain characters like Wagner have, if you hold forwards, if you like double tap forwards and then continue to hold forwards, you will do a backwards dash. A forward sprint, as you can see, how you are Wagner is repeatedly sprinting across the screen. Certain other characters, an example being Azrael and 9, they don't have a forward or backwards dash, they have a forward teleport and a backwards teleport. And an example of 9's teleportation. And 9 can do 2 teleports in a row before a slight delay before the next 2. How you can see, there is a slight delay between each dual teleport. And Susunoho does have a sprint, but it's a slow startup. As you can see, it takes a little bit of build-up time and then he'll start sprinting, which means he doesn't actually have an actual proper forward dash. If you try to forward dash, he'll go into the build-up animation. Although, yes, technically technically he does have a forward dash, but you have to hold the control stick for D-pad forwards just a little bit longer. If you press up while in midair after a normal jump, you'll do a double jump. Backwards and up will do a backwards double jump, and forwards up will do a forwards double jump. And certain characters, like Tiger, don't have a double jump, but other certain characters, like Taokaka here, have triple jumps. Where they can also do 2 air dashes as well. How you do an air dash is, if you are in midair and you double tap backwards, you'll do a back air dash, and if you double tap forwards in midair, you'll do a forwards air dash. Like I mentioned, Taokaka can do multiple, up to 2 air dashes after a normal jump. Tiger, because he has no double jump, can't, but characters like 9, if you try to do a backwards air dash or forwards air dash in the air, will actually perform a teleport. And also, certain characters like Hazuma and Valkenheim, etc., don't actually have sprints. They just have a forward step dash thing, which is that kind of like quick step forwards. Right, now, basic attacks. You have 4 basic buttons in Blazblue. You have, in the terminology of Blazblue, A's, B's, C's, and D's. On standard control schemes on PlayStation, A is square, B's are triangle, C's are circle, and D's are X. And on Xbox, A's would be X, Y's would be what would be your B function, and B's would be your C function, and A would be your D function. I've only mentioned Xbox because there isn't an official Central Fiction Xbox port currently, but if there is one in the future, then that's why I mentioned it like that. A moves are your kind of like, they're like your light attacks. You're not heavy hitting, but like close range, fast coming out attacks. Y's are kind of like, in Street Fighter terminology, heavy attacks, longer range, more damage potential in combos, etc. And these are your drives. Each character has different drives that are very unique to them. Wagner's drive is a heal. Jin's drive is a freeze. Noel's drive is kind of like like basically it's a combo opener. Rachel's drive is controlling wind. Taokaka's drive is various forms of like jump launches. Tiger's drive is enabling magnetism, and when magnetized can like pull, the enemy will be pulled towards him. Lychee's drive basically puts her stick down, and when she has her stick down on the floor and is not carrying it, she has a second moveset. Arachne's D drive charges up his curse gauge, and when an opponent is cursed, like Wagner is now, extra little like creatures will come out when you perform button inputs. Bang's D drive will unlock his seals down there, and when you have all 4 seals unlocked, you can do a special move. Carl's drive controls Nirvana and can do various Nirvana things. Hackerman's drive is a counter. Nu and Lambda 11's drive is ranged projectile swords. Tsubaki's drive will charge up her gauge, and when she has points in her gauge she can use extra moves. Hazuma's drive or boss is a long-range chain weapon that you can launch yourself across the screen with if you want, and also hit opponents with from range, and you have various follow-ups to it. Mu 12's drive places down stationary turrets that will attack the enemy once, and can be used for special moves. Makoto's drive is a chargeable punch where the more you charge it, the more damage it deals, and the more hits done, etc. Valkenhayn's drive will transform him into a wolf state where he has more different move sets. Platinum's drive will summon one of her maturing weapons, and then when a maturing weapon is summoned, we'll use the maturing weapon. Relius's drive will put Ignis away and call her out and perform Ignis special moves. Izuyoi's drive will transform her between her normal state and her enhanced state. Amani's drive is various forms of drill attacks, and also it will charge up his drill gauge, and the more higher level his drill gauge, the more damage his drill attacks will do, and the more hits they will perform. Bullet's drive is kind of like a chargeable, and then when it locks onto the opponent it will send her flying towards said opponent, and will charge up and will heat her up, and when she's heated up she can perform follow-ups to those chases. Asriel's drive will apply weak points onto the opponent, and when a weak point is on an opponent, certain moves will gain special effect, like no chase, up a weak point on though. You can perform a chase of it, and again no chase, but if you have lower weak point on, you can perform a chase. Kagura's drive will send him into stance state, and when he's in stance state he can do various different stance moves. Kokonoi's drive will summon gravitational fields, which will pull the enemy towards them, including if they are in the air. Terami's D drive is basic attacks, but they generate a very large amount of heat. Heat is used to use special attacks and astral finishes, but we'll talk about those at a later date. Celica's D drive will control Minerva's attacks. Hibiki's D drive will send out his shadow clones. Nine's D drive will, when you have actual magical charges, will use like the element that she has a magical charge of at the time. Nato's D drive will perform chargeable attacks, and the longer you charge them, the larger the hitboxes. Izanami's drive will send her into an alternate state where she can't block but can throw send projectiles at the opponent. Susuruho's drive will unlock seals depending on, like his move seals depending on what seal is highlighted at the time. And as you perform hits or attacks, it will scroll through them, and then you use his drive to unlock said moves. S's D drive performs just basic moves, but if they're in enhanced state, they'll do extra hits. No, they'll do more damage. No, if she's in overdrive, they will do extra hits and more damage. Sorry about the delay, something just came up. My SD drive it'll basically throw her spear around and you can control the angle of where it throws, and if you press it again it will come back and hit the opponent in the back. And that goes over basic attacks. Basic defense next. I'm just gonna quickly set Wagner here to do a block string combo. Okay, he's ready to go. If you don't press any input, as you can see, you'll just take the damage head on. But if you were to hold backwards, you would block it. If you press, but the problem with blocking normally like that is like if I just record this Wagner to do two like that followed by that and then by that lower attack, you'll see what I mean. Yes, this is what I'm talking about. Like, let's say you could block that, but if you don't swap up your blocks, as soon as you're hit by a low attack in that instance, the low attack will actually... Okay, that's really what I wanted. There we go, just we can do that instead. Right, so if you, as soon as you were hit by a low attack, like that attack at the end of the string there, see how the exclamation mark is appearing above the red Wagner's head? That means he was doing the wrong block. To block that, you'd want to do a crouch block near the end, which is just you hold down and back at the same time. See how I was able to block it that time? The problem about crouch blocking is, though, is a move like Wagner's 6B is an overhead. You cannot block overheads while crouch blocking. It will go through your block. So for that point you would want to block upwards. Like you want to do the upper block. So you want to like make sure to stop your block and to down blocking and up blocking when you need to. You can also perform the block while in the air. Like, yeah, I could, if I wanted to, I could block these from the ground. But let's say I'm stuck in, let's say I'm like in the air as it happens, right? I would want to air block. So if you just hold backwards while jumping, you'll perform the air block. Certain moves from the air cannot be blocked while in the air, etc. And certain moves from the ground can only be blocked while in the air. So make sure you know what can be blocked with what. And let's say, oh no, this Wagner here, he's knocked you down. What can you do in that situation? you can perform a wake up. If you leave your character there for a bit, obviously, they will just get up eventually by themselves. But if you press a button when you're knocked down, A, B, or C function, you'll wake up. If you press up while knocked down, you'll perform a neutral. If you press up and a button, you'll neutral wake up. Or just X, Y, X, B, or C functions without any inputs. If you press forwards when you're knocked down, followed by one of those inputs, you will perform a forward get up, like a forward wake up. And if you press backwards on one of those three inputs, you'll do a backwards wake up. And if you press one of those inputs at the earliest time of you hitting the floor, you'll perform a quick wake up like that. Like the second you hit the floor, you just wake up. If you counter hit though, if you get hit by counter, as you can see, you can't quick wake up in counter. It's because you have more hits done in counter. Special attacks. An example of a special attack would be that for Wagner, which is his dead spike. That would be down, forward, D, or in terminology of Blazblue combos, because it is an anime fighter, all anime fighter games generally refer to their directional inputs as numbers on the keyboard. So for instance, up would be 8, back up 7, forward up 9, no input 5, forward is 6, backwards is 4, down back is 1, down is 2, and down forward is 3. So the input for this would be down to curve to forwards A, or 2, 3, 6 A. Certain special moves will have follow-ups. An example of that is Wagner's Hell's Fang, which is down back A followed by down. So I mean, dead spike is down, forward D. I'm still thinking of Xbox controls, don't mind my screw up there. So Hell's Fang would be down back X, thinking of Xbox controls again, down back A followed by down back D, or 214 A followed by 214 D. Certain moves have zigzag inputs. A zigzag input would be 623, or forward down, diagonal forward down, or I would say just forward down forward. An example of this is Wagner's Inferno Divider, which would be either, depending which version you wanted to do, forward down forward C, or forward down forward D. And lastly, but not least, if you are in a state of not playing this game too much, but still you just kind of want to start learning the game, you can slap on stylish mode. And what stylish mode is, you can still manually input the inputs for special moves, etc. But there's also a simplified version of the input that you can do as well. And if you would repeatedly press a single button, the game will automatically do a combo for you. For instance, if I repeatedly press X here, you'll see Wagner in Y, and different directional inputs could even cause different combos. That's the down Y basic, the example B stylish, the down B stylish, the free C stylish, forward C stylish, back C stylish, 2 A stylish, jump starting A stylish, jump starting B stylish, forward B stylish, jumping C starter stylish, and also if you're in the corner it would do different combos as well. Basic D stylish, forward D stylish, into account and perform logical combos that it would make sense to do in overdrive state. And you can still add in like dashes and etc. if you want to give a bit of spice to your own combo of the stylish. And that is it for the basic mechanics of the game. I hope you stay tuned until maybe sometime later on today or tomorrow, and I will get up an intermediate tutorial where we will start going over some more complicated stuff. This tutorial is built for new players to the game, or players who are returning to the game after a period of time, who haven't played the game in a while, or even players that played the game a lot and just want to occasionally brush up on their basic techniques.